Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Sim. Hope you are great. So, I came across video about Trump trying to overhaul or to prioritize white refugees before any other person. I am not sure this is new because I experienced one this year. The citizenship that was given to South African refugees has never ever happened like this in like years, in like decades, right? They landed in United States the same minute or the same second they also got their citizenship. You and I still can remember what Stephen Miller said. That is something that I will never forget till my last day. He said, left for him, it is going to be only people that look like him, 100 million of them in United States. So tell me how they are trying to prioritize only white refugees in a country that is diversified, because United States is a diversified country. So why do they have to prioritize only white refugees? This is also for you to know that most countries are running away from their countries because their country is probably being under fire by the same people that will not give you refugee or that will not prioritize you. Because what they do is they go to other countries like they are doing in Congo and some other ones, put fire, and they will not let you in at the same time in their own country for safety. Let's get into this video.
Trump's proposed overhaul to the refugee system will prioritize white people. No, I'm not kidding. Trump's new refugee overhaul would cut admissions from 125,000 to 7,500. That's a 94% drop. And guess who gets priority in that tiny percent? White South Africans, Afrikaners. Meanwhile, families fleeing genocide, war, famine, which are mostly Black, brown, and Muslim, will be shut out. And now they're calling it a value-based, assimilation-based system. And they're going to favor people, and I quote, who speak English, understand American history, and fit our culture. Let's be very real. This is coded language for white, Christian, and Western. And when they say protect our borders, it's not about security, it's not about safety, it's about selection. When they say American values, it's about whiteness. And when they say refugees must assimilate, they mean don't look too different. This is not new. America has always had a racial hierarchy, deciding who it welcomes. In the 1930s, Jewish people were turned away at the borders. Black Caribbean migrants were over-policed and denied asylum. Latinx families put in cages. Muslims banned, and now white refugees prioritized. So when we have said that everything is about race, we were not exaggerating. Because everything is about race. And race has always decided who gets saved, who gets welcomed in, who gets silenced, and who gets sent back. This refugee reform is racial engineering dressed up like patriotism and American values. And if you look away now, history will remember those who were silent, just like the last time America chose whiteness over its humanity. So for those of you who keep asking why we make everything about race, it's because it is.
The Trump administration is considering a sweeping overhaul of the U.S. refugee program, one that would drastically cut admissions and favor applicants who are white, English-speaking, and European. According to documents obtained by the New York Times, the proposals would transform the decades-old humanitarian program designed to aid the world's most vulnerable into one prioritizing those aligned with the president's objectives, including people from South Africa and Europe who claim persecution for opposing migration or supporting populist political movements. Among the recommendations are requiring applicants to take courses on American values, prioritizing white South Africans, including members of the former apartheid-era Afrikaner minority, and restricting refugee settlement in communities with high immigrant populations. Officials say that the changes are intended to ensure that refugees can fully assimilate. Sound familiar? President Trump has already enacted parts of the plan, including slashing refugee admissions to 7,500 next year, down from the Biden admin's cap of 125,000, and offering priority status to Afrikaners, a move South African officials have condemned as baseless. The documents go further, suggesting that America's growing diversity has reduced social trust essential for democracy. Language critics say echoes white nationalist rhetoric. Former U.S. immigration officials warn that the proposal reflects an ideological vision of who counts as American. Under the plan, U.S. embassies, not the UN, would decide who qualifies for refugee status, giving the administration more control over admissions. Vice President J.D. Vance has defended the move, saying that Europe's right-wing parties face unfair suppression, while State Department officials insist that the policy prioritizes the interest of the American people. If implemented, though, it would mark one of the most dramatic shifts in U.S. refugee policy in modern history, moving away from global humanitarian mission toward a selective system designed to reshape America's democracy and political future into one that's more.
So Trump is overhauling the refugee system like he's in the works. He's going to put preference towards English speakers, South Africans, and Europeans. He wants people to take this American history test and become familiar with social norms. So he's more focused on people that assimilate into American culture. And you can thank people like Ilhan Omar, so disrespectful towards America, saying her country first. That's who she's for, her country first. So why would he want to have more people like that in this country that put their people before Americans, right? And this is going to impact those hundreds of thousands of refugees applications that's in the pipeline. Yeah, they're probably done with. If they're not from an English speaking country, or if they don't align with American values, it's probably done with. And to all these black immigrants, don't listen to these black Americans telling you we're all black, the cops treat us all the same. What about ICE though? What about ICE? See, I went through this, but if I wanted to, I could say I could disrespect the Trump administration. I could disrespect this country, America. No one's going to revoke my visa. Where are they going to remove me to and from? Like, it's not going to happen. But you can't do that because you're a guest in this country. So yeah, y'all need to be on y'all best behavior because like Trump stated that he's focusing on English speakers. Liberia might have a chance of American wannabes. Yeah, their capital is named Monrovia. That's named after a American president. So they may have a chance. Don't let these black Americans trick you out your spot talking about we all black. There's different types of blacks, man. Not all chocolate is the same.
Trump is planning on making it easier for white, far-right immigrants to skip the line and receive refugee status. All this while he is considering canceling applications for people who have waited for asylum for decades. It's clear what this policy is when Trump says that he wants to welcome people who are aligned with his values. It's thinly veiled racism and white supremacy. While this change doesn't affect people who aren't refugees, it still affects us. It affects the country that we're going to live in. Asylum shouldn't be about being anti-Asian, anti-African, or anti-South American. It shouldn't be about jeopardizing the lives of people who have waited for asylum for years. So I'm letting my representatives know to stand against Trump's new refugee policy. And if you want to join me, feel free to follow this link.
You look at that. So Donald Trump could offer refugee status to Europeans who oppose migration. Let me act like I'm surprised. Did he say that? How could he say that? Also, Europeans, that's a key word. He definitely means white people, right? But also, isn't that itself like a contradiction? Like, if you oppose migration, how do you want to immigrate yourself to elsewhere? But I mean, also the surprising part and the scary part is that he is going to do that, and like he's going to get away with it. That's just also the surprising element and the most dangerous part of it. But wow. And then the irony is that these are the same people who always accuse people on the progressive side or the left side, if you will, being obsessed with race and skin color and whatnot. But this is what you want to do. I don't know about you, but this shit sounds woke. Also, I promise you that they will not want to go because there's no free healthcare, there's no any sort of, assistance, because these people need assistance. You know what I mean, the welfare. But also, they will be treated as immigrants, white immigrants, in the hierarchy of things, they might be closer to the power structure, but they still will be immigrants, and I don't think that's what they want to do. But there, thanks.
Look, y'all, I know it's late, but y'all have to hear what the man in charge is up to now. Newsflash, no good. Apparently, he's cooking up a radical overhaul of the refugee system, and spoiler alert, it's the kind of overhaul that makes you want to unplug the country and plug it back in. So, according to the New York Times, he wants to prioritize white applicants and slash total refugee admissions to $7,500 a year. 7500. That's not humanitarian policy. That's a dinner party with a strict dress code. You'd have better odds getting backstage at a Beyonce show with a counterfeit lanyard. He says it's about bringing in people who can assimilate. Now listen, sir. The only thing that can't assimilate is your spray tan to your scalp. Now, we've got this new phrase, shared values, which sounds less like immigration policy and more like a Facebook group for folks who think diversity means beige, must love freedom, flags, and pretending systemic racism retired in 1968. And he's floating a cultural norms test. Oh, good. Because nothing screams liberty like a standardized exam on potato salad etiquette. Question 1, do you believe in ketchup on eggs? Wrong answer. Deported. At this point, the Statue of Liberty is probably halfway to Nova Scotia muttering, y'all figure this out without me. He even wants embassies, not the UN, deciding who qualifies for refugees. So now Compassion's a concierge service. Hi there. Welcome to America. Would you like your white privilege with your freedom today? This man is turning refugee policy into a Hobby Lobby craft project. Cut a few brown people here, lose some Europeans there, slap on a God Bless America sticker, and call it reform. Every time he says America first, an angel loses his green card. He is not rebuilding the nation, he's repainting it eggshell white and calling it patriotism. You would think after 4 years of chaos, he'd pivot to decency. But no, he's out here auditioning for America's Next Top Bigot, hosted by himself and sponsored by fear. He wants fewer refugees in immigrant-heavy areas, as if the problem with community is too much community. The only thing he's protecting is his ego from diversity. Sir, the country you're describing already exists. It's called the 1950s, and even if it's trying to forget you. So yeah, he's at it again, confusing cruelty for leadership and nostalgia for morality. But here's the thing, the rest of us aren't buying the rebrand. We see it for what it is, a man trying to play God with a guest list of humanity. And if you haven't already, you need to read our Substack from today, No Kings, the People's Line in the Sand, because this isn't just about refugees. It's about who we are when power forgets what mercy looks like. So share this, subscribe to our Substack at the link in my bio to show your support, and follow for more, because this is the Southern Punk Project, where we roast the ridiculous.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have some insane news as Trump is considering overhauling the refugee system to prioritize white people. Trump is reportedly considering overhauling the refugee system in the United States to prioritize white people, according to the New York Times. These changes would give preferences to specific groups, including English speakers, white South Africans, and Europeans who oppose migration. This would shift the current focus of which priorities for refugees are ones who are fleeing war, persecution, or life-threatening situations, regardless of race and nationality. If you needed more proof that the Trump administration is racist, here it is. Granted, I think we all know that at this point, or at least we should know that the Trump administration and MAGA is inherently racist. I mean, that's the United States as a whole, unfortunately, it really is. And it is insane that we have made it this far in society and racism is still a massive issue. And to all of those who say that racism is always going to be an issue and we're never going to get rid of it, I strongly believe that the reason that racism is still an issue is because people like you say things like that. I strongly believe that that statement in specific is a massive part of the problem. The colors of people's skin should not matter. How they talk or how they present themselves should not matter. And you know what's crazy is it didn't matter when you were children. You know, I remember growing up and going to school and seeing different people around me and not caring. I just wanted to make friends. I just wanted to hang out with those around me. That's what I wanted as a little kid. And I know There are so many other people who wanted that when they were younger. So the fact that it becomes more and more of a prevalent issue as people get into high school, as people become adults, is something that should be focused on. Because if you look at younger children, they don't notice it. They don't care. You know, the fact that it is 2025, and racism still exists is absolutely insane. And I know it is deeply rooted in American society especially, but that doesn't mean efforts can't be taken to change that. That doesn't mean we as a society can't take a reflection and consider that maybe we should stop forcing these mindsets onto children. Genuinely. Like, if you look at little kids, if you go to schools, if you talk to these children, they don't notice. They do not notice that someone else is a different skin color until you point it out. And the fact that children are indoctrinated by the people around them and the communities that they are grown up in to believe and support this racist ideology is absolutely disgusting. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Like and repost to get the information out, and drop a follow for more news content.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, October 16th, and yesterday it was reported that there was a leak of a completely new refugee program, and that the Trump administration would be just overhauling the existing refugee program. And there are a lot of things in this report, but I want to talk about a few that are extremely concerning. One, it would bring down overall refugee admissions drastically. Really minimizing the amount of refugee admissions to the United States on an annual basis. Second of all, it would prioritize white Europeans and English speakers and even extremists on the far right. Sorry about that. That was my kids. One of the groups that are going to be prioritized are white South Africans. Now, we've heard this before, right? This isn't a surprise. They already created, a special refugee program for white South Africans. But then there's categories for people who come from English-speaking countries, people who could more assimilate culturally. So what is that? Western Europeans, right? And create a special category of refugees, like a refugee category for extremists. I'm not kidding you. People who spoke out against immigration in their country, essentially white supremacists, and were silenced in their countries, and they feel ostracized. They feel silenced because they cannot, support white supremacy in their country. So now the Trump administration wants to literally give them a special priority to seek refugee status in the U.S. Now, cultural assimilation, what does that mean? It means you're Christian, right? We're looking at countries where Islam is the majority.
This is all I got
religion.
from this video. I am not sure this is surprising to me, because last I checked, Stephen Miller said that, that left for him, that it will just be how many persons? 100 million of people that look like him. So now you can see that they are doing overhaul, they are prioritizing the white refugee or refugees over black or brown or any other person. This is more like a wake-up call for people to know. I'm sure black people, this is not new to you. But for those that think that, that they want to align with white supremacy, that white supremacy is the only thing they want to do and be in their life, that some people actually think that they will belong. Some people actually think that they will feel among, as time goes on, that probably he will see them as humans. He will see them as people that love him. But let me tell you something. As long as you do not have that skin color for protection, there is nothing you are telling me. He knows what he is doing. So he is trying to overhaul, to prioritize only white refugees. So if you are not white, you are not vital. No matter what is going on in your country, No matter what is happening to you, no matter how bad your story is, right? It is not important. But the white man or from South Africa that had no problem in South Africa, right, would just come over, or any other white people from anywhere, Ukraine or maybe Russia, I don't know, but I'm just saying, would just come and then they will be prioritized first. Why? Because they want it to be all white country in a country that is diversified. That is how crazy it is so far. I may not have a lot to say because, sincerely speaking, I told you people that the day I heard that thing from Stephen Miller, that I will never forget it. And not until the last day, I will still not forget it. How racist America is. How racist, especially this administration is. How they have used their power in a way that they shouldn't use. It's just like people having emergency and running to where they feel like, oh, I might get help. Get in there, you find out that you are not getting any help when they see that you deserve that help. But the same people that will tell you that they will prioritize only white people, go to other countries and make it really bad. Because some people are running away from their countries. Why? Because they got their countries disoriented. Their countries are burning. By who? By the people that will also not give you, that will not prioritize you. They will chase you away from your country, and they will also not welcome you in their own country. That is how disgusting the world has become. That is how disgusting politics has made a lot of people lose their humanity. I will draw my curtain here. Bye for now.